Seattle Seahawks superstar receiver DK Metcalf is officially on the trade block, and the favorites to land DK is the Los Angeles Chargers. So in today's Madden 25 rebuild, I am trading for him with the Chargers, and this video does not end until we win a Super Bowl. Now, first things first, as we do in every rebuild, I got to take a look at the roster first, and offensively for the Chargers, we have a superstar quarterback in Justin Herbert, a great tackle duo with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. The interior does need some help. I think Zion Johnson can be a long-term starter for us, but at center and right guard, it's pretty rough. But the skill position players in real life is why the Chargers want to make this trade for DK Metcalf, and it's because Quinn Johnson is the wide receiver too, and he's not very good. Will Dissly is their tight end. He's an okay piece. Should not be your tight end one, so we have a lot of work to do getting Herbert some more weapons. And defensively, there are some pieces there, although they are older with Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and Derwin James. I don't know yet if we do want to bring back Khalil Mack on an extension or not. But yeah, the defense definitely needs a lot of work. Some younger players in the secondary, but I don't know if they're ever going to progress to be like really good players for us. So a lot of work to do on defense, but I think for now, once we get DK, our offense can be one of the best in the league right away. Now, we do have $99 million in cap room for this free agency class, but Asante Samuel, he does not have a ton of interest in returning to Los Angeles. I'm going to offer him a player-friendly deal, not really expecting it, and yeah, he's going to go test out free agency. Kind of a similar thing with J.K. Dobbins. He doesn't have a ton of interest in returning. I'll offer him a contract, and again, he's going to hit free agency. Now, Joshua Palmer is interesting. I think I'll bring him back. He's not super expensive, and he can be a solid wide receiver 3 for us, and he will be back. Zion Johnson, we just talked about him, but I am going to accept his 5th-year option. Might as well. He's still a very young and ascending player. I think Poona Ford on the defensive line on a 1-year deal could be okay, but he's going to test out for agency. Khalil Mack, as I mentioned, he's just 34 years old. He doesn't have a ton of interest in returning. I guess on a 1-year deal, why not? He can come back and get a ton of interest. Doesn't matter. He's going to free agency. Elijah Molden, I'll probably let him walk. I think Christian Fulton, he's still young, solid player. I'll bring him back. At the very least, he can be some depth for us. And the free agent class, as always in the opening year of these sims, is not great. I think Khalil Mack, should we just offer him this 1-year deal, kind of like similar to what we did before? I guess why not? He still has a ton of interest in returning to our team. I do think Javon Holland could be a fun pairing with Derwin James. We don't desperately need a safety, but Holland can emerge as one of the better ones in the league, so I will offer him that 3-year deal. And now all of a sudden, Asante Samuel has some interest in playing for us again, so I'm going to offer him that 4-year contract, and hopefully we can get some of these players to help out our defense. I don't see much on the interior of the offensive line. We honestly might just have to address that in the NFL draft. I guess Will Hernandez is solid enough. A 2-year deal could be fine for him. We just get a center to start for us from day one. And then my last contract I'm going to offer is Chase Young, because he is young. We do need help on the defensive line. He's got the size to also play right end in our 3-4 defense. So we're going to try all these and see who we can get. Chase Young did decide to sign with us, which is awesome. Let's check some of the top free agents. Khalil Mack, he did decide to come back. Javon Holland, though, and Asante Samuel did not want to come to Los Angeles. But we did also get ourselves Will Hernandez, which is awesome as well. We do, of course, need to make this trade go through for DK Metcalf. I'm offering a 2nd-round pick. I don't know how stingy the CPU is going to be, but we're going to try it and Okay, the trade difficulty was changed. We're going to try a 2nd-round pick now, and it's still not even close. So I'm going to try this again on very easy, a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-rounder for DK. Will the CPU let this one go through? And still, not even close. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. A 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th for DK. There's no way, even in real life, he has that value. And this is on super easy. For whatever reason, still on very easy, we had to give up our 1st-round pick, which I really didn't want to do. I don't think the Chargers will probably have to do that in real life, but hey, it is what it is. DK is officially a member of the Chargers now. Obviously, we're going to go back to settings and change it back to normal in terms of the trade difficulty, but that should just about do it for the main trade, and now we can move on to the NFL draft. I don't really know what to expect in terms of who's going to be on the board here. With the 54th pick, I had a couple of running backs added to my board that I wanted to scout, and one of them just got selected in Travion Henderson, which really sucks. I do have a tight end here in Harold Fannin. I got him in a previous rebuild. He developed really, really good for me. So he's really interesting here. A really nice receiving threat. But there are some other receivers like Trey Harris, Isaiah Bond, a free safety even. Alfred Collins out of Texas. But the fact that Armand Membo is here is really funny because he's probably going to go like in the top 10, top 15. He could be a guard for us and develop really, really nicely. Let's honestly just go Harold Fannin, get another weapon for Justin Herbert, 6'4", 235, a vertical threat. He's number 62 in true value. We got him at 54, which is fine, but he is hidden dev, 85 speed, 89 acceleration. Just another really nice piece to our offense. Now here in round 3, I think Darian Porter out of Iowa State. He's got really good physicals. 4.32 40-yard dash, a 41.5 vertical leap. He is 24 years old, so a bit older, but we need a plug-and-play starter. I think he can do the trick here and maybe still develop into being a really nice cornerback for us. He was 141 in true value. He is hidden dev, though, and I mean, talk about really good physicals. He's got them. That's pretty ridiculous. We've still got Cam Skattebo on the board. I've been kind of keeping an eye on him because he's a very Jim Harbaugh-esque player. Just a very physical son of a gun. I'm going to draft him here. He's an absolute stud, and he's number 122 in true value. So 89 speed, 90 acceleration. He just plays the game the right way, you know? And my last selection before the CPU takeover is Jonah Monaheim from USC. He's 6'5", 310 pounds, and he's got pretty good physicals all across the board. Don't know if I'm going to get a starter for us in round number 5, but he's 297 in true value. Wow. 86 strength, 70 speed. I don't know. I mean, he kind of looks like Joey Bosa. Look at him. He kind of looks like Joey Bosa. Don't think this guy's going to be very good, but we might just start him year 1 anyway. And the draft recap is really not good on paper. Fannin is a good player, 73 overall, but man, it is rough after that. Not a single player into the 70s. Even my main man, Cam Skattebo, he's only got a 69 overall. That's upsetting. Well, here's the roster in year number 1 of this rebuild. I think the offense does have some more young, fun playmakers with Skattebo and Fannin. The offensive line has to be one of the best in the league. Hopefully, Monaheim can be just okay and continue to develop. But DK Metcalf is added in now. Ladd McConkey can play in the slot for us full time. I think the offense is going to be really, really good. It's just the defense is going to be problematic. We do have some star players like Bosa, Mack, and James that I mentioned before. But the defensive line, I had to sign 3 veterans who are kind of just guys at this point. The secondary has some holes. I'm hoping that at least one of these guys can really emerge and be like a cornerback 2 for us moving forward. But yeah, I don't think this is a deep playoff team this year. Still a lot of holes. And hopefully in the next couple of years, we can figure that out. And through the midseason point, we are 2-4, which is not great. It looks like our offense is actually struggling somehow. I did not change the playbooks at all. I'm still using the base ones for the Chargers, so maybe that does need to be changed. The good news is we still only are 1 game back of the division lead, but definitely not the start we were looking for. Looking at players we do need to bring back, we have $114 million in cap room, and Rashawn Slater, he's going to get a big bulk of that, a 4-year extension. He's not going to say yes right now, but he does have a ton of interest. I don't think that's going to be a problem. DK Metcalf, the man we just traded for, probably the last major contract of his career, a 4-year deal, ton of money. He's going to stay. Joey Bosa, he's interesting. I think a 2-year deal is fine. He is going to sign with us, which is awesome. We're already down to $55 million in cap room. Alohi Gilman is just a solid safety option. I think for now, we will extend him on a 3-year deal. Now, Khalil Mack, he does want another 1-year deal. I think that's fine. And outside of that, I think the rest of these guys were fine letting hit free agency again. And we do, unfortunately, end the season 6-11, so not a great year for the Chargers and really year 1 of this rebuild. It looks like the defense really struggled. The offense actually did pick up. I changed the playbook the middle of the season to the Chiefs offense, and it did get better, but definitely not enough to get us in the postseason. We finished as the 14th best team in the AFC. Stats for the season, Justin Herbert had himself a good year, 4,200 yards, 33 touchdowns to 14 picks. On the ground, Skattebo as a rookie was all right, 782 yards and 12 touchdowns. Receiving, Metcalf over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. McConkey was just under 1,000 yards. Palmer had a good season. Fannin even had a fairly good season as a rookie as well. Defensively, though, it looks like Joey Bosa had 19 TFLs but only 4 sacks. It looks like our pass rush really struggled. Chase Young actually had a decent year. Our secondary, Henley, our linebacker, had 4 picks. Is that a potential dev trait upgrade? Derwin James had 3, and Alohi Gilman, who we did extend, had 3 picks as well. So a lot of turnovers actually forced, but not a ton of sacks, and we allowed a lot of points. In the season recap, the Ravens defeated the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Shedeur Sanders, Rookie of the Year, and Will Johnson, of the Jaguars. Last look at players heading to free agency, the 5th-year option on Quinn Johnson. I cannot reject that any quicker. Jasir Taylor is technically the top free agent we have that could be leaving. And yeah, we're going to let all these guys walk. And this free agent class is really interesting. Brock Purdy's the top free agent, but of course, we're not going to be signing him. I think maybe signing Terrell Bernard next to Henley makes a lot of sense. He's still fairly young. Junior Colson really hasn't developed as much as we'd like him to. But I think that's all we're going to do. Kind of a rough free agent class for what we need. And let's take a look and see if we got the only guys we try to get. And Bernard did not want to come to Los Angeles. He went to the Buccaneers. And we do actually have the number 5 pick in this draft. If I find somebody I really like here, I am going to make the selection. But I'm also down to maybe trade back. But this cornerback here, Trent Shepard out of Minnesota, he's probably too good to pass on. We need a cornerback 1 really, really badly. He's not the biggest guy in the world, 5'10", 203 pounds, but A-man coverage, A-press. This guy seems like a dog. Elite all across the board. Yeah, we're going to not think twice about this one. Trent Shepard, welcome to Los Angeles, the number 2 player in the draft. Hidden dead with 96 speed, 95 acceleration. We just got a generational cornerback. I don't really see anything popping out for me here at the top of the 2nd round. I'm going to accept this offer from the Vikings. Pick up a 1st-round pick next year, and hopefully they're not very good, so that's a really good pick. I think here I'm going to start preparing for the world without Derwin James getting the strong safety. He's 6'2", 216 pounds. He runs a 4.35 at his college pro day, and he was 103 in true value. He is only normal dev. That is not great or very encouraging, but I still do like his size and his athletic ratings. The draft recap is better than last year. 83 overall for Trent Shepard is ridiculous. Hicks is a 72, and I let the CPU take over the rest of the draft after that. And they got ourselves Andrew Lockridge, a right outside linebacker, probably just going to move him to middle linebacker with 86 speed. That's actually really, really good. But here's a look at the roster heading into year number 2. The offensive line still one of the best in the league. Herbert has another weapon developing with Harold Fannin Jr. He's an 82 overall superstar. DK did lose his dev trait, but I still think he's going to be a great receiver for us next year. Scadabu had a ton of improvement as a rookie, up to a 79 overall. And defensively, there's still a lot of moving parts, but I do like having Lockridge and Shepard as 2 starting rookies for us from week number 1. Derwin James, Bosa, and Mack, we did see a little bit of slippage, so this could be the last year for at least 2 of these guys. Tupelotu, I probably should start over Khalil Mack just to kind of get ready for him being a starter next year, but I still think for right now, going to rock with Khalil Mack as we are trying to at least make the playoffs this year. But our defensive line is still paper thin. We need to get another defensive tackle. That has to be priority number 1 for us next year. And we got to find another solid pass rusher alongside Chase Young. And through the midseason point, the Chargers are still really struggling. An 87 overall offense is 31st in the league with points per game. Somebody in the comments, let me know how that is even possible. Herbert has 7 touchdowns through the first 7 weeks. And I'll show you, we are using the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. So it's not a playbook issue. It's just a Madden sim issue. Why, with the Kansas City Chiefs on West Coast power run, are we playing so horrible? I guess we'll just change it to the best scheme fit, which is the vertical power run, which I don't think really matters in terms of the Chiefs playbook and what it can utilize. But we'll try this and see if our offense improves. But for right now, it is rough. We do have a lot of players to sign and bring back with $117 million in cap room. Derwin James is 30. He's a very interesting player. I might try and see what his trade value is because we're 2-5. We're not doing good this season. Maybe it's smart to trade him while his value is still good. Henley has emerged as a really good linebacker for us. I am going to sign him to a 4-year deal. Chase Young, he's been a solid player for us as well on our defensive line. He's earned a 3-year deal. Zion Johnson, another guy that's been developing for us. And we have a lot of young talent that has been improving for us year after year. Tupelotu, he makes more sense now that Khalil Mack is getting up there in age, as well as Joey Bosa. Christian Fulton has been a slot corner for us. I think I'll have him continue to stay in that role. And I think for now, the rest of these guys, I'm fine again, letting hit free agency, not really missing out on a ton of good players. I am going to check the market, though, on Derwin right now. The Bears are going to offer us Gervin Dexter Sr. and a couple of really nice picks as well, just for Derwin James straight up. I'm going to accept this. We're going to get some cap space back at a very nice young and ascending defensive tackle with some nice capital as well. It does hurt us in the short term. Obviously, Derwin is one of the best safeties in the league, but I think this does make us better long term, getting a nice young asset in the middle of our defense, because defensive tackles are not easy to come by. Save some cap space, get off the play that's only going to be getting worse in the next couple of years. And we had a tremendous run to end the season, going 10-7. It looks like our offense really heated up towards the end of the season. I wonder if kind of that scheme change did help us out. But we are the number 7 seed, going 10-7, and our first game is at Jacksonville, which I know is probably going to haunt some Charger fans, because the last time they traveled to Everbank Stadium in the playoffs, they choked a massive lead. But we've got Jim Harbaugh now, not that buffoon, Brandon Staley. And so far, we're going to get off to a 7-3 lead here in the first quarter, but Jacksonville's trying to answer our defense, having a tough time getting them off the field. But holding them to 2 field goals is actually huge for us. Another red zone trip, 14-6, as Jacksonville looks to tie it up before half. They do make it 14-13, but it must have been a turnover. It's 20-14, 21-20. What is going on? Tons of scoring there, but I want to hop in here, take a look at the offense with Scadaboo and Fannin. Let's try to pick up this first down here on 3rd and 2. The Jaguars blitz their entire linebacking core. Get a nice stop. But Jim Harbaugh is staying aggressive. And take a look at this. Metcalf and McConkey on the same side of the formation. McConkey underneath. Bad throw, and it's going to be picked off. Bad read. Tyson Campbell with the interception. And now it looks like our defense made a very crucial stop. And we're again driving it. I guess the CPU did not need my help. It is 28-20. Jacksonville is in some trouble. Another red zone trip. We cannot punch it in, or can we? 35-20. That is just going to about do it here in Jacksonville. This time, it's the Jags who blew a lead. 35-20 is a pretty nice win on the road for us, and the first playoff win of Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. But in the division around, it's not going to get any easier. The Kansas City Chiefs hosting the annual Arrowhead Invitational. We're going to have to travel up there, and it's not going to be a fun one. They're 13-4 this regular season. I don't know if we have the horses to compete with them yet, but I will say this is the 3rd time we're playing them this year, so things can get weird, and so far our offense has been somewhat keeping us in this game, 14-7, and we cannot take advantage of our defense finally holding Mahomes, and now it's 21-7. Herbert isn't going to get us on the board, 21-14, but it seems like whenever our defense gets stops, we can't score, and whenever our offense does score, our defense can't get stops. It's 21-35. We're trying to make a late push for us, 3rd and 6 here. Herbert still driving it, and now we have an interesting situation here. 3 turnovers is not great from our offense, but we're only down by 7, have a chance to get this football back if we can stop Mahomes, Pacheco, and Lockridge, our rookie, is a stud. I do want to see if we can get Herbert a chance to have a generational legacy drive. So here we go on 2nd and 8. I don't want to use the timeouts yet. Here comes Travis Kelce in motion, and the Chiefs didn't even get the playoff in time. Fine by me. I wonder if they're going to pass this football now, and it is going to be a little quick dump off here to Rashee Rice. But here we go, the play of the game. 3rd and 8, Noah Gray in motion. We just cannot allow this first down, or we will be in some trouble. And underneath, he's going to throw up the field here, and Shepard, our rookie, with the interception. He needs a ton of green grass. Shepard, juke out Pacheco. Shepard brings it inside the red zone. That could be a game-changing play. We've now got the ball practically in the red zone. Justin Herbert and the empty formation, loaded with weapons, and to make something happen. Underneath here, incomplete to McConkey. 2nd and 10 now. Here comes Fannin in motion. Hoping that somebody can get open in the middle of the field, and he's going to fire underneath here. It's caught by Joshua Palmer. It's 3rd and short. Herbert is having a crazy game today. 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Can he get 5 touchdowns potentially? Herbert going to fire underneath. It's caught. Joshua Palmer again. And I don't know why the clock is not running. I think we might have used a timeout, which I don't agree with at all. But here we go. Herbert firing to the end zone, and it's going to be caught by DK Metcalf. There's the connection we've been waiting for. It's a tie game. And now can the defense get a stop on Mahomes? I don't know why they're not snapping the football. They had plenty of time, but Kelce is going to get him to the 40. Maybe if they have one quick hitter up the seam here, like they did against the Buffalo Bills once upon a time, they'll have a chance. But I think this game is going to head to overtime. Mahomes, he's going to look. He's going to fire deep. He's going to be lobbing up. It's like a Hail Mary back in the end zone. And, oh my goodness, it was almost caught, but it's not. So here we go in overtime. The Chiefs are starting with the football, and it's already 3rd and 11. Joey Bosa has his X Factor activated, and Mahomes is throwing it Caught Xavier Worthy first down. 1st and 10 again for Mahomes. Under some pressure here, and Joey Bosa brings him down. That tackle cannot handle him one-on-one, and Bosa again almost got there, but this time Kelsey for a huge gain. I don't want to show too much of this game, but the Chiefs are still driving it. 3rd and 8. I do want to show this key play because the Chiefs, if they don't score a touchdown, leaves the door open for us to go win this football game. But Mahomes dropping back, has some pressure, and Mahomes is going to be sacked by Chase Young. And it looks like Herbert and this offense is cooking. I want to hop in before we miss a lot of these other key plays. DK Metcalf had a very crucial catch to set us up here. We're like 10 yards away from winning this game at Kansas City, which just seems unbelievable. Here we go, Herbert dropping back. Gonna fire it, and it's caught by our tight end, Fannin, and he's got a whole lot of green grass. We're inside the red zone. I don't know why we're not just kicking the field goal. But 2nd and 12 here, Fannin in motion again. I wonder if we're just going to do a low percent little dump off. And Herbert underneath to McConkey, and we're inside the 10. Herbert in the shotgun again. Going to pass this one, firing to the end zone. It's caught. And Joshua Palmer, they say he's down at the 1. We're now in the I formation, a handoff to the fullback, and that is it. The Los Angeles Chargers in overtime, in a crazy game, just defeated the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead in huge upset fashion. And in the AFC Championship game, it's another wild card team in the Cincinnati Bengals, a matchup between Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And who would have thought that a number 5 seed in the postseason would be hosting a playoff game? But so far, a lot of fireworks, 7-7, but the Bengals offense just can't mess with Herbert and DK Metcalf. Looks like the Bengals cannot answer, but it's 14-10, 14-17 now, a 2-minute drill before half. We could not score, and the Bengals have themselves a 10-point lead. But here comes Herbert, a touchdown. Again, another touchdown, 28-24. Let's take another quick look at this defense as Joe Burrow has this Bengals offense inside the red zone. And underneath here, had a chance for a pick. Olsen broke it up. Another very important 3rd and 4 here. Gonna bring a blitz on Burrow, which is sometimes not smart, but this time we're gonna get after him, and Burrow has nowhere to go with the football. We're gonna force the field goal. And I guess they want to go for it. I think I'm going to let the CPU take this one. We'll see if our defense can get a stop here. Very pivotal point in the game. And underneath to Jamar Chase, it's not going to be enough. They're going to say short of the sticks. Our superstar X-Factor cornerback is just ridiculous. And now Herbert and the offense have a chance for a kill, but they could not do it. The Bengals scored a touchdown. And now we got to answer. I want to try and find maybe DK Metcalf, but here up the seam is Fannin Jr., easy touchdown. We're right back in front with 5 minutes to go. And our defense now finally get a stop. It looks like a 3rd and 4 here. The Bengals are still moving it down the field. This has just been a shootout for the ages. And Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense just won't quit. We have a 2nd and 1 here. Burrow in the empty formation underneath. Hot. We had one amazing stop in the red zone. Can we do it again? It's going to be challenging with Jamar Chase on the field. Here, a blitz though to Burrow. He got it out though, but he's short. 2nd and 4. We're not going to use our timeouts yet, which is interesting. But T. Higgins, one-on-one coverage, Burrow dropping back, has some time, but again, short of the sticks, 3rd and 2. We're again not using any of our timeouts. I don't love it, but here we go. Empty formation for Burrow. The Bengals need a touchdown. 2 downs to get it, and Burrow's going to fire it, or he's got plenty of time, escaping the pocket, and Burrow's just going to throw it to the end zone, and it's caught by T. Higgins. And now Justin Herbert and the Chargers offense has 3 timeouts in 32 seconds to make magic happen. Fannin in motion. Herbert dropping back. Firing underneath to DK. That's just not going to do it, though. We need more yards than just a 6-yard slant. Herbert still has 2 picks this game. Turning the ball over kind of a lot, which I don't love. But Herbert dropping back again. The Bengals bring a blitz. Herbert throw it away. And he did. We're going to eventually need a chunk play. I say just lob one up to DK, let him make a catch. But Herbert going to lob one to the sideline. McConkey holds on. Still need about 20 yards for a field goal. Only 1 timeout remaining. Don't love this for us. We have to have a big play here. Herbert dropping back. He's going to run for it. Plenty of green grass, but he only slid for 8 yards. And now we're really in trouble. I would say maybe a 10-yard pass the middle of the field and then spike it as soon as we can. Herbert trying to find somebody open. And that's going to be the game. The season recap, the Cowboys went on to win the Super Bowl against the Bengals, and we did not even win Defensive Rookie of the Year with our stud cornerback. I guess it did not show the stats, but Herbert, again, over 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns to 10 picks. On the ground, Cam Scatterbo, over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's emerging as a really good player for us. Receiving, Fannin, Metcalf, Palmer, McConkey, all had really, really good seasons. The ball was being spread out a ton. It looks like defensively, we had a lot more sacks this year, 9.5 for Bosa, 9 for Chase Young, 8 for Deo Odeyingbo. And our rookie cornerback had 6 picks this year, but somehow did not win Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's insane. But Henley, 5 picks. Definitely really solid. A look at players to re-sign this year. Joe Alt, I am going to accept his 5th-year option. We have $72 million in cap room, which is really great. Quinn Johnson, going to let him walk. I think Odeyingbo actually had a pretty good year for us, so I'll offer him a 2-year deal just to bring back some depth on our defensive line. I think Will Hernandez as well has still been a really good option. I'll bring him back on a 1-year deal. But outside of that, I'm fine letting the rest of these players hit free agency, and we again have a pretty good chunk of cap room to sign some more players. And there are some really nice free agents this year. The problem, though, is I don't really need any of these positions. Like the center we drafted, Monaheim, isn't great, but he's a 76 overall and very cheap. Why would I pay like $20 million a year for Linderbaum? Devin Lloyd would be like cool, and same with Vita Vea, but those guys have no interest in playing for us. I guess Nolan Smith could be pretty good value, as I do think Khalil Mack might have retired, so we're going to offer him a pretty nice contract. Hopefully he will sign with us. We did get Nolan Smith, which is great, and also the best punter on the market for his age at 23 years old. So PJ Gaffney, welcome to the team. And in the draft, of course, the Vikings had a good season, so we're picking 29 and 30. I might end up trading one of those selections away and trying to do the same thing again if I don't love like 2 players, which I don't really think I will. Supposedly, this was a good, strong safety class, but 2 of them just went off the board. So maybe I should have looked into some of the mock drafts before I went ahead and simmed with this, because now there's not a great strong safety on the board. I guess Pat Simmons here, a pass rusher, is cool. 6'5", 250, and he's got elite speed. I mean, that's a really nice physical makeup. Gonna draft him. We don't necessarily need a pass rusher, but you know what they say. You can never have enough pass rushers, and he was 91 in true value. He is hidden dev, 86 speed, 87 acceleration. Seems like an okay pick. The Dolphins went off for their 1st-round pick next year for this selection. I'm just going to do it and hope that the Dolphins are not good. I guess getting a safety to help us out in TJ Walford here makes sense. He's 5'10", 222 pounds, has pretty good physicals as well, but his skills really stand out. A man coverage, A hit power, B awareness. I think he will be a good player from day one, so you're going to take him here. He was 16 in true value. So this guy was a stud. He only is normal dev though, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but he's got pretty good athletic ratings. A ton of safeties on the board again, but the guy that really stood out to me was Ben Winter, 5'11", 208 pounds. He ran a 4.42 and had a 35-inch vertical. They're all pretty good in their own right, but I just think Winter here has the most upside due to his physical characteristics, and 57 in true value. I will take it. This guy looks like he's going to be a stud. And the draft recap looks pretty good. Pat Simpson here is a 73. We have a 77 overall starter in TJ Walford now. Winter's a 74. Barnes, I let the CPU take over. They got a 75 overall defensive tackle. The rest of the draft isn't great, kind of just filler, but I mean, those top 4 picks are really, really good. Could this be the year? I think we have a chance. I mean, the offense is ridiculous with Herbert, Scadaboo, Metcalf, McConkey, and Fannin. The offensive line is elite as well. Defensively, we are younger and faster now with Shepard, Walford, and Winter in the secondary. Our defensive line has been rebuilt with Dexter and Chase Young. Our linebacking core is really good as well with Bosa. He is kind of slipping a lot. But Tupelotu is ready for that starting role. And also, Simpson, who we drafted, is pretty good as well. And through the first 7 games of the season, the Los Angeles Chargers are 7-0. Our offense is elite. Our defense is top 5 in scoring, although we get passed on a ton. But man, we're having one heck of a season to begin. And the Dolphins are also 3-4, so that pick could also be fairly nice. But players ready to negotiate, we only have $26 million in cap room, and Joshua Palmer, Ladd McConkey, and Tarheeb still are all due for contracts. Some of the other younger players like Junior Colson and Cam Hart, who don't really play for us a ton, are also up for deals, so I'm not really worried about them currently. Ladd McConkey, he has no interest in playing for us currently, which kind of makes me sad. I'm going to offer him a player-friendly deal, see if this works and makes him change his mind, and he will. I think we are going to have to let Palmer and Still leave. Just makes the most sense. I know Still's a really good player. He's developed really nicely for us. Maybe once the offseason comes around, we will have enough money to bring him back. But right now, we don't, and he still only is normal dev, surprisingly. And Palmer just doesn't make sense to bring back another receiver with Fannin, really developing as one of the best tight ends in the league. So yeah, not really a ton of free agents. We are going to move on from Joey Bosa after this year. We'll be into the season 14-3, probably the #1 seed in the entire playoffs. The Dolphins also 7-10, so a pretty nice draft pick for us there. But taking a look at the playoff bracket, of course, we do have the first round bye. I probably just don't want to play the Chiefs again, so hopefully maybe the Ravens or the Bills can take them out in the next round. But stats for the season, Herbert was incredible, 4,200 yards, 41 touchdowns to 12 picks. And on the ground, Cam Scatterby, over 1,000 yards again and 13 touchdowns receiving-wise. Joshua Palmer led us in receiving yards with 1,000, but Fannin, McConkey, Metcalf were all still really, really good again. I mean, we have so many weapons outside for us. And defensively, it doesn't look like we had a ton of sacks this year. Still 9 for Joey Bosa, who is kind of an old man now. Chase Young had 8, Henley had 4, and he also had 6 interceptions. Deion Henley is like the best linebacker in the league the last couple of years, which is insane. And Trent Shepard, our superstar generational cornerback, another 4 picks. And look at that. We got some luck. The #2 seed Tennessee Titans got upsetted by the New England Patriots. So we have the #7 seed coming to SoFi Stadium to face off against us. And we get the winner of the Bills versus the Chiefs and another nice heated matchup there. We are honestly just a way better team and way more experienced than the Patriots. This should not be a challenging game for us, but you never know with the Madden sim, as the Patriots are going to score first 7-0 to open up the scoring. But we're going to quickly respond, and now it's time to get some points before half, but we can't. It's a 7-7 game here, and our defense is going to allow another touchdown. 14-7 now. We're kind of getting to panic mode here in the fourth quarter. It's 14-14, 21-14 finally. The Patriots are still trying to tie the game up and make it 21-14. They cannot, and we are finally going to pull away here, I believe. 1st and 10, just trying to kneel out the clock, I believe now, and going to kick a field goal, make it a 10-point game, and we are going to escape, but the Patriots kind of a frisky team here, making it a close ball game, but we are going to send them home and move on to an AFC Championship game for the 2nd straight season. And the Buffalo Bills finally got over the Kansas City Chiefs hurdle, defeating them 34-17, and now they get to face off against another buzzsaw and the Los Angeles Chargers on the road. Overall wise, we do have the advantage against this Bills team, but anytime you're facing off against a Hall of Fame quarterback, it's never going to be easy. We do start off 7-0, but Josh Allen quickly responds. It is 7-7 still here late in the second quarter. Nothing really happening, and at half, it is still tied 7-7. The Bills and the Chargers offense are doing nothing. We're in the fourth quarter now. We finally take the lead again. It is 10-7. Now it is 13-7. The Bills are still moving it. I was not expecting a slugfest kind of game with a #1 offense in the league, but the Bills have a chance now to go win this football game. 2-minute warning is in reach here, and Allen is going to run for it and pick up a huge gain. I'm almost fine letting them score because we'll be like 20, 25 yards away from field goal range. But Allen on a quarterback keeper here, he's going to run for it and only pick up a couple yards, but he fumbled the football. But it's scooped up by Keon Coleman. And now 2nd and 5 here. It's going to be another run to James Cook, and he's got a huge lane. He's down to the 1. Or actually, they're going to give him the touchdown. It's a Herbert legacy drive now. All 3 timeouts, 1:04 to go. Dicker the kicker. We just need around 30 yards. The first pass here to Palmer, I don't love it. We need some throws beyond the sticks, maybe 10, 15 yards, I would say. Just a couple of the chunk plays. We've got Fannin coming in motion again. Can DK Metcalf win one-on-one? Herbert has plenty of times, and a fire again to Joshua Palmer. We're at the 49. Really, one more first down. We're in manageable field goal range. I think Dicker the kicker will have a chance to put it through the net. But here we go. Herbert again dropping back, and a fire to Palmer for the 3rd straight time for 4 yards. 42 seconds now to go. Fannin is coming in motion. I don't know why we're taking so long. This is kind of frustrating, but Herbert again going to fire the same play underneath the Palmer. We burn the timeout. I don't really know what we're doing. 33 seconds, 3rd and 2. Can Herbert make a play and throw to somebody else besides Joshua Palmer? I'm begging. Underneath, guess who it is? Joshua Palmer, but we are in field goal range. And just to be safe, there's kind of a glitch in this game where if you just do not spike the ball manually, the CPU will not do it. So we're going to try and hit DK here on this crosser and get out of bounds. And now we have 6 seconds. We're going to kick the field goal. Going to let the CPU do it, and Sean McDermott is going to ice the kicker. But little does he know, this is Dicker the kicker, and he does not miss clutch kicks. 3rd and 2, 5 seconds to go. It is up, and it is good. 3 seconds left in this game, and we might have just clinched our trip to the Super Bowl. Going to go ahead and kick this one with a little bit of speed. Try and get this into the kicking zone, but I do want the Bills to return, and they will. No chance for Josh Allen to make a crazy play. And it is over. the Chargers are headed to the Super Bowl. Who would have thought? And our Super Bowl matchup is against the 15-2 Chicago Bears. The Bears, a close win against the Cardinals in the divisional round, but had a nice convincing win against Seattle in the NFC Championship game. On paper, they're an okay team at 85 overall, but the fact that they're 15-2 is very scary. And I think they actually beat us one of the last games of the regular season. So it's time to avenge that loss now in the Super Bowl. Here we are in Hard Rock Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins. And the Chicago Bears are being led by Caleb Williams. I guess they're young, ascending, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And the Chargers, Justin Herbert, DK Metcalf, in a loaded offense. This is going to be a thriller. And it looks like the Bears are starting off with the football and move it right down the field, but only settle for 3 points. We're going to do the same. It's 3-3 as we approach the end of the first quarter. 3rd and goal here. 4th and goal, we're going to have to settle for yet another field goal, but another turnover. It's 13-3. The Bears answer 13-10, and now they're going to take the lead before half. 24-13. I think we turn it over twice because I don't know how the Bears scored that many points quickly, but all I know is it's 24-24 now. There really hasn't been that much action after it became tied, but Herbert has us inside the red zone here, taking down the play clock all the way, and Herbert gonna fire it, and it's wide open to McConkey inside the 5. We're looking to take the lead here in the Super Bowl. I think that's Cam Scatterbo in the backfield. Would love to see him get a touchdown. Our, I think, 3rd round pick a couple years ago, but Fannin here for a loss of yardage. But 2nd and goal at the 4-yard line. Scatterbo right up the middle for a touchdown. And the Bears at the 42-yard line. This is the last play of the game. Caleb Williams is going to fire one deep, a Hail Mary into the end zone, and it's going to be swatted away. And the Los Angeles Chargers just won their first ever Super Bowl. Let the celebration begin with Justin Herbert, Cam Scatterbo, DK Metcalf, Jim Harbaugh. We have done it, I think, in year number 3. And what a great end of the season. And here we go with the Gatorade bath. And Super Bowl MVP was Ladd McConkey, which is actually pretty hilarious. But now, as I do in like every single one of my rebuilds, I want to play out the following season after our Super Bowl champion and see if we can go back to back. I'm just going to sim through majority of this stuff, let the CPU take over. But first off, I do want to bring back Tarheeb Still. We have $22 million. He has a lot more interest in returning now, so I do think it will make it work. And he will be returning, which is awesome. So really every key player, I think outside of Joshua Palmer, will be back for us in this following season. There are some really fun players in free agency. They all have a ton of interest in playing for us as well. The problem though is we have no money to pay any of these guys. I mean, $11 million is just not enough. I guess we could get Terrion Arnold, but we don't really need him now that we have Still. I mean, he's just as good. I'll try and offer Cesar Ruiz a deal. He does have some interest in playing for us, but it's not a great offer, but he is going to sign for it, which is cool. So we do replace Will Hernandez with a younger and better player, and that's really all the moves we can make. I went ahead and simmed the draft, and our 1st round pick was Matt Jackson out of Oklahoma. Looks like an okay receiver, 73 overall. But the CPU with our other 1st round pick at Calvin Schaefer, another pass rusher, so a decent class, and overall pretty happy about it. But here's what the team is looking like. I believe heading into year number 4, Justin Herbert is now superstar X factor. The offensive line has got to be one of the best in the league. Fannin is an absolute stud. We are seeing the regression of DK Metcalf. He's down to an 86 overall now, but our offense is a 91 overall. Defensively, we're still pretty good. Just a lot of young players now led by Shepard, who's a 92 overall X factor. And I think, again, this team has a chance to compete for a Super Bowl at an 88 overall. And now we're going to see if we can do it. And we ended the season 10-7. Which is not great. Our offense was still really good. And actually, our defense was still top 10. I don't understand why we only won 10 games, but it is what it is. Stats-wise, Herbert had the best year of his career. 4,700 yards, 47 touchdowns. On the ground, Cam Scatterbo again over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's just been ridiculous for us. McConkey, Fannin, and Metcalf still had great seasons. Even Matt Jackson, our rookie, had himself a good year. Defensively, it looks like we had a pair of double-digit sackers in Chase Young and Nolan Smith. I don't know why we didn't win more games. This is like the best statistics we've seen for like any season so far. But the way that our team has played this year, don't feel great about defeating the Jets on the road in MetLife Stadium, but we will see if we can do it. And we actually do. 30-24, taking down the Jets on the road. Herbert was okay. 1 touchdown, 220 yards, did not turn it over though. And LaMichael McElroy is the Jets quarterback. Looks to be pretty good. But in the division round, a rivalry matchup against the Raiders, 11-6. On the road, not going to be an easy one. And we take them down? We do not. We fall 20-17. Unfortunate end to this rebuild. But here is a final look at the roster. Herbert has developed into being a stud for us. 96 overall superstar X factor. Cam Scatterbo, is almost a 90 overall. And for all you watching out there, this is living proof. Don't quit on your dream. The offensive line, all 80 plus, including 2 90 plus tackles. Fannin, probably the best tight end in the league. Metcalf is still chugging along. The defense, our safety tandem continues to get better. Henley is now a 90 overall middle linebacker, probably the best cornerback in the league, and Shepard. This team's insane. I do hope you guys enjoyed the rebuild of DK Metcalf being a part of the Los Angeles Chargers. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about the rebuild and also any future ones you want to see. I'd love to know. But subscribe to the channel if you are new. Drop a like on the video for more rebuilds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.